morning, beloveds. Well, I'm running a little bit behind this morning. It's my rest day. And normally I'm up by 7:30. Yeah, I was 7:45. And I was grateful that my partner was home because I might not have gotten out of bed. So, Okay. All right. It is March 10th. Our title is When Less Means More. The first quote is, "No person putteth a piece of new cloth unto an old garment, neither do people put new wine into old bottles." That is Matthew 9:16 and 17. The second quote, "When the old and the new do not fit nicely together, the old, being no longer able to contain the new, should be discarded." Science of Mind 439. About a month ago, we had tree trimmers prune some huge trees in our backyard. The leaves of the trees were turning brown, and the pruning was for the purpose of stimulating new growth. Afterwards, I was reminded that nature can teach us some great lessons about ourselves if we are receptive to learning. One of these lessons is that when we reach a point in our lives when we are feeling dead on the inside, perhaps depressed or dull or understimulated, maybe our problem is that we have ceased to grow. Maybe we need pruning to promote new growth. The process of pruning a tree redirects the tree's energy into different channels. And so it is with us. When we eliminate an aspect of our life that no longer serves a valuable function, such as a job or a club activity that doesn't challenge us, we have an opportunity to find new involvements that will challenge us. We all need to ask ourselves from time to time whether we are simply repeating the same old things out of habit or because it is expected of us. Probably nobody is going to nudge us out of our ruts. We will have to decide to let go. But once we do, no doubt, we will have energy to redirect towards endeavors that will contribute to our growth. We find ourselves elevated and expanded as our energies are redirected. Let us begin today. Today, I take a close look at all my activities and determine whether any of them can be discarded. I remold my life to encompass some of those things that I've always wanted to do and approach them with enthusiasm and joy. And that is AD. And AD is one of the ones that I don't know who it is because they're not listed in the thing. There's a couple that you just don't know. So let's go back to one particular line in this. We all need to ask ourselves from time to time whether we are simply repeating the same old things, either out of habit or because it is expected of us. Okay? Habit or expected of us. It's not a big secret. I have anxiety. And because of that, one of the things that I will do that helps to manage my anxiety is routine. And sometimes I get really, really, really rigid in my routine. And that's one of the things that during, in the early parts of COVID, it showed me, how rigid I can get about my routines and how anxious I can get if I have to change my routines. And yet, when I changed my routines, it was actually helpful. So, and it's habit because it's comfortable. And yet we don't always grow in comfortable. It's like we want to grow out of our comfort. We want to expand out past our comfort zones because that's where we learn new things. And it's the same thing with when we do things because they're expected of us. Well, they may be expected of us, but are they doing us any good? Sometimes we are expected to do things that are to the benefit of other people that are actually detrimental to ourselves. All right? And that was one of the things that we learned during COVID is that frequently a lot of us have jobs that we can be expected to show up even when we don't feel well. And COVID showed why that was a bad idea. So, and simply because I work in the health food industry, that was the other thing is that we are expected to run ourselves into the ground and not take care of ourselves. And suddenly people went, oh, you know what? This thing's a whole lot easier to fight off if I'm healthy. So there are a lot of things that we will do because we are expected to, or because we've just gotten into the habit of. And it's always a good idea to go back and look at that. There's a tree in my neighborhood, and it's a big tree, and it's an old tree, and they cut all of the old limbs off. And I was like, they just killed that tree. And then a couple of months later, I saw all this new growth, and I went, oh, so now this big old tree has a lot of, every one of those old limbs sprouted a whole bunch of new limbs. And I just went, well, that's interesting. So, and we've done the same thing at the center. I got the pictures from Jesse, and I just need to post them, where we had a pecan tree that finally had given up, and a big beehive had moved in. Well, we got somebody to come in and move the beehive, and they also took out the tree to protect the building. And then they looked at the other beehive, because we have two of them, and that other tree actually is in, they said the tree will last another 5 years. And so either the beehive will move on, or by then we'll find somebody who's ready to take that, move that beehive, possibly even the same person. But that tree is in better shape than the pecan tree was, and it's got some new growth on it. So it'll be interesting to watch. And so it behooves us to look at our lives, especially at our routines, especially at the things that we do every day. And occasionally we want to disrupt them. Discomfort is not the problem. In fact, comfortable can be the problem. I'm always reminded of the monkey trap. It's where you put treats in a coconut, and you drill the hole just big enough that they can get their unclasped hand into it, and then they won't let go of the treats. And so sometimes that's what comfort can be. We're trapped in that coconut after those treats because we're comfortable. And so what AD is reminding us is that sometimes it is good, in fact, frequently it's good to redirect our energy, to look at our habits, to look at our routines and go, am I doing this because it's serving me? Am I doing this because it's comfortable? Or am I doing this because it's expected of me? And maybe realize it's not really what we want to do in the first place. There have been, parents are wonderful and well-meaning, but frequently children will go into studies that they are not interested in because their parents are encouraging them, because their parents are trying to live a dream through them. That's an expectancy that frequently we have. Now, parents aren't trying to hurt their children, but when children have gifts and talents and interest in another direction, and parents, so that's, yeah. Okay. All right. There's a whole lot in that. So basically, what I'm saying to you is maybe we need pruning to promote new growth. Stealing a line out of AD. Because it does redirect our energy. It does challenge us. It allows us to try new things out. And that's almost always going to be a good thing. Especially when I like to remind you that we only fail when we fail to learn something. So even if we try something new and it just goes spectacularly badly, we may have had, in fact, sometimes when I have failed spectacularly at a new thing, it's when I've had the most fun. Okay, maybe I'm not going to do it again, but I had a whole lot of fun trying in the first place. You never know until you try. So it's springtime. So now is a good time. Now is when we repot our plants, and we're probably I know it's March, but you have to remember that I live pretty far south. So yeah, there's a lot of the pruning's already been done around here because the sap's already running. they're talking, it's going to be 88 on Sunday. Not that I'm happy about that. I'm very unhappy about that, but I know where I live. So, probably nobody is going to nudge us out of our ruts. We will have to decide to let go. Now, that's the benefit of Science of Mind, is that in Science of Mind, we do kind of nudge each other and going, hey, you seem to be a bit in a rut. You want to try something new? Because we enjoy new experiences. So, you've been in a rut, come see us. We'll show you something new. We'll help nudge you out of your ruts. All right. So, the mission today, AD's got it right down here in the treatment. Today, the mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to take a close look at all of our activities and determine whether any of them can be discarded. If you want new, you gotta let go of the old. This is the struggle that I have with books. I love books. But occasionally you gotta go through your bookshelves and go, I'm never gonna read this again, and let it go to somebody who will love it maybe more than you did, and make room for new books. So, same thing with your activities. While we are in this mortal form, while we do have infinite spiritual energy, we only have so much material energy. And maybe it's time to look at our activities and let some of them go to make room for new activities. Try it. You might like it. All right. Sorry. I can taste my eye medicine in the back of my throat. The other thing that I suggest every day, which is the spiritual practice of doing something loving for yourself, doing something kind for yourself, doing something compassionate for yourself. And believe it or not, pruning is kind and compassionate and loving. Absolutely. It's one of the most loving things we can do. We talk about weeding our garden to make room in our garden for the things that we want to grow. We prune trees to help redirect their energy so that they are healthy and have all that newly, especially when we prune off the dead stuff, it is loving, kind, and compassionate, and that is something you can do. There are things that you are doing out of habit or out of expectation that are no longer serving you, and the most loving, kind, and compassionate thing you can do is let go. Really, let go. All right. And this is also, it's a simple practice. It is absolutely about self-care. I don't joke about that. I don't try and hide that. I'm not trying to trick you into taking care of yourself. I'm straight up telling you, take care of yourself. Because you can't pour from an empty cup. And sometimes it looks like, it's as simple as taking a deep breath before you speak. And sometimes it looks like taking the day off. And sometimes it looks like dropping things that just don't serve you, that aren't, I hesitate to say aren't fun, because occasionally we do things that, out of duty that aren't fun, but you know what I mean. If it's no longer serving you, the most loving, kind, and compassionate thing you can do is drop it. Okay. And remember, the other part of this loving, kind, and compassionate is to make room for joy. Joy is a quality of God. You deserve joy. It does not matter what is going on in the world. You still deserve joy, and make room for it in your life. I like to remind you, your life is a special occasion. All right? Don't save the good stuff. Don't save the good stuff. So make room for joy and eat dessert first. Eat dessert first. Or maybe just eat part of dessert first. You know what I mean. All right, I'm going to move forward. I'm going to remind you to do something to engage your mind and your body, unless today's your day of rest, as mine was, or is today. Today is the day I take the physical activity off the table and rest my body. I do encourage you to drink plenty of water. Hydration is super important. Your brain works better when it's hydrated. I do encourage you to get early in your day bright light. Apparently, there's a front coming through, so there's no sun, so artificial light counts. It's called a circadian rhythm. It is hormone balance. Believe it or not, your hormones are influenced by light. So early in your day bright lights will help to reset that circadian rhythm. You will have more energy during the day and you'll sleep better at night. So I do encourage you to try that out. And then, in the words of Ernest Holmes, open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you, you do live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around us all the time. And there's a lot to be said about that, and I say different things all the time. But what I'm going to remind you is what we believe in science of mind is that it's all God. We are made by God, of God, for God. That means everywhere we look is God. Now, I'm not saying that we don't make messy choices and that there isn't stuff going on that we could do better. But we get to make that choice. When we know better, we'll do better. So by opening the windows of our soul, by recognizing that heaven is a state of mind, it is a state of consciousness. When we make better choices, heaven ceases to be a place and can become any place because we learn to create it for ourselves. And once we do that, nobody can take that away from us. Superpower. All right? And you come pre-installed. So once you learn that state of grace, the world becomes a different place. And it doesn't mean you don't see the stuff that needs to be worked on and fixed. It does mean that you will ask yourself the question, is this mine to do? And do what is yours to do. But it means you'll make room for joy. And you'll make room for love. And you'll make room for kindness. And you'll make room for compassion. And you can always take Emma's advice. Look for the good and praise it. All right? That's one of the fastest ways to open the windows of your soul and learn that heavenly state of mind. All right, beloveds. Okay. I'm going to take a deep breath and remind you that we are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. I'm the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. Please avail yourself of the content. It is really amazing and really good. And we try and get, we're all busy, so you may not get as much as you hope. But, I mean, there's lots and lots and lots of content, good content on the YouTube channels. Apparently I have over 900 videos, which shocked me, but I have been doing this for 3 years, so that makes sense. All right, I need to stop talking, move forward, and remind you, if you want to know what's going on with the center, email info@creativelife.org. The constant contact is constant. You get at least one email a week unless something else happens up. The hot links are hot. And there is a new feature on the website. And the website is creativelife.org. That's our website. And if you go to creativelife.org/Sunday Talks, it will take you to our YouTube channel where all that great content is. So feel free to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Okay. I am at the part where I get to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonder-filled day, an amazing day, a Friday. It is Friday. That means I get to go to the park tomorrow. Yes! I love my park. It's a small park. But there are blue jays and there are squirrels and it is wondrous. So have a fantastic day. Have a pruning day. Have a getting out of the habit day. Have a letting something go day. Having making room for something new day. Have a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough just as you are. You're a beloved child of God. You are a brilliant light. You are a divine spark. You are spirit in motion. You are God in action. And as Reverend Jesse likes to say, you are a godling in whom God is well pleased and well represented. It's a state of grace. Nobody can take that away from you, no matter what any of the other religions say. It's why we don't like to call ourselves a religion. We like to call ourselves a philosophy. We're a way of living in this world. We're a way of moving through this world. We don't want to teach you what to believe. We want to teach you how and show you that this world can be an amazing place. And you are an amazing part of it. So, all right. Have a day. Okay. And maybe look at printing some of that stuff out. All right. Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I should be back with you around 9 a.m. I do get to go to the park though, so we'll see how close to 9 I make it. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved always, always. And I will see you next time.